Welcome to this edition. We're going to be talking about African League. African football is entering an interesting phase, with domestic leagues now looking to align more closely and growing collectively. The new African League initiative is a big part of that conversation. So I'm speaking with a representative of Federation of Ugandan Football Association, to understand what it really means in practice, especially for African leagues. Oh, will you kindly introduce yourself, please?
Thank you very much. My name is Jovin Jenkins Matovu. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer of the Uganda Premier League.
So,
And I'm also part of the founding members of the African Leagues Association.
that's splendid. So let's just dive right into it. So the first question goes this: from Uganda's perspective, of course, because you are representing Uganda, football league. What made it this? This is the right moment to join the African Leagues initiative.
Thank you. So, where we decided to be part of the African Leagues Association initiative is one, it was very clear that at this rate, we couldn't operate in isolation on the continent, but also interestingly, for us to be able to learn from those that are bigger than us, to work collaboratively, we figured the best direction to take was to come up with an association under the division of the World Leagues Association, so that we can be able to partner with fellow continental leagues to enhance our growth in all aspects.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So what do you think changed, now compared to how it was before? What really changed to previous years?
Yeah. One of the things that is going to change, for example, is partnerships and sponsorships. First of all, because it is very clear that we cannot have partners at some point as the Ugandan Premier League, like high level partners. But if we do have eight other partners, eight other partnering leagues, it makes it possible for us to negotiate, like as we are eight leagues, for example. If you're speaking to big betting companies, the likes of fintechs or other FMCGs or data companies, if we discuss with them as a group, as a collective, it is easier for us. We're in a better negotiation position than we would have been single-handedly.
So the key highlights is joining, getting partnership, like you said. Is it partnership, fintech? Can you highlight more on that, please?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah, go.
If a fintech would like to get into the African market, and they look at the Uganda Premier League in its alone, for example, single-handedly, they might perceive it like they will not get as much value. Okay, but when they are told that, look here, when you come and join the African Leagues Association as a partner, you're going to get value from eight leagues: from North Africa, from West Africa, from South Africa, from Central Africa, and East Africa. It gives more value to the partnering brand, like the fintech. They have more numbers to work with, and you know how it goes down. Numbers attract numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is why we went for the discussion, and that's the route we are taking.
Yeah, that leads us to the next question. So, for clarity, how should fans understand African League? What is African League and what is it not?
Okay. The African Leagues is an association of the top flight leagues in Africa. Okay. Now, globally, there is the World Leagues Association, which brings together all the top flight leagues in the world. In Europe, there is the European Leagues Association, which brings together all the leagues in Europe. The same happens for Asia. Now, for us as Africa, we didn't have one. Okay, so we're looking at some of these very key partnerships, like top broadcasting deals, major transfers, and we're always wondering how come we get from like the 2000, for example, major transfers that are done on the transfer market annually. How come we only get less, like only 50 from Africa? And yet the answer was, you are not working together in unison. Okay, so what the fund has to understand is that this is a collaborative joint force to enhance league football of the continent, to enhance talent development on the continent, to enhance knowledge sharing on the continent, to enhance commercialization of football on the continent, to enhance quality of the sport, broadcast, reach, affordability, sustainability. Many leagues and many clubs are not even sustainable commercially. Why? Because there are no investors. Why aren't there investors? Because they're not seeing value in a single property. But collectively, you have 8 leagues so far, the founding members. We're still getting more. Actually, 4 leagues have so far reached out to us to join. You go and negotiate as a collective. Now, this way, it means the funds can access, for example, imagine a fan having an application where they can watch games from over 8 leagues on the continent. Okay, so they have access to their continental league football. They can get it at an affordable rate. Why at an affordable rate? Because the person who is broadcasting the games is charging a very small portion, since they have a big number. Yes.
That's well explained. So if I get it very well, so it's I need you to highlight more on, it's more of a structure and not the competition.
It's not the competition.
Okay, please, can you highlight more on that, please?
Okay, so the African Leagues Association
Yeah.
is an initiative that brings together African leagues
Okay.
under one umbrella. So that, for example, if we are looking at getting partnerships, if let's say we want to get, let's say Puma, okay, we can speak to Puma and tell Puma, look here, we are 8 leagues on the continent. Give us 20 million US dollars and you'll be our official kit partner across 8 leagues. And that will make very much sense for them. If we can speak to Nestle, if we're speaking to Coca-Cola, if you're speaking to Samsung, because the global firms that are investing in football, a small percentage of them is investing in sport in Africa, because they're looking at the numbers. So single-handedly, some of our leagues don't have the let's say like the 2 million fans that go for that game. But if you have 8 leagues, and each of those 8 leagues, each league is selling 6 million tickets minimum, for example, it means you have over 70 million tickets. So if you're getting, for example, Ticketmaster, they see much more value and will be willing to invest in the sport. If you're doing talent development, grassroots development of talent, we have a big number, a big chunk from which to negotiate with and execute. So it's not a competition, it is an association of the leagues for very many issues, even the calendars, player transfers, player issues, clubs management, a lot of things. So the entire ecosystem of leagues is for us to be able to catapult it to compete globally. Yeah.
No, thanks for the clarification, because I was wondering, is it competition or the structures? But you've been able to shed more light on that. So that brings us to the Ugandan vision. So what does success look like for Uganda over the next few years within the structure?
Well, thank you very much. What success looks like, well, of course, number one, first and foremost, is us having more than 2 or 3 global partners in our league. Secondly, is growing the player transfers, seeing some of our talent participating in top leagues globally, because now they'll have a market that can watch and give them opportunity to be there. Thirdly, is to see our clubs grow into sustainable businesses, and also to grow our fan base beyond our country. Because you see, it is only in Africa where a league is only big in the country. All the biggest competition, for example, for all African leagues is the English Premier League. You see, globalization. So success looks like globalization of Uganda Premier League, globalization of the Egyptian Pro League, all of our leagues going outside, busting out of the continent. Media and broadcast rights, international media rights, the media deals that we have here for broadcast are mainly locally. We don't have an international media partner, for example, in China, for example, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, and yet there are Africans in the diaspora who are living there who would definitely very much love to be watching these games. Even the scouts who would want to be watching the African games at league level don't have access, because nobody has the broadcast rights in other countries outside Africa. So what success looks like is seeing African leagues going beyond their origin, the countries of origin, seeing our players, having more African players feature on top continent at top European leagues and competitions, and also seeing that our players are in position to have a sustainable livelihood, and also the clubs realizing return on investment.
Thank you. So, in practical terms, what changes should club and stakeholders in Uganda, what should they expect to see first?
What they're going to expect to see first and foremost is governance,
Okay.
because one of the things that we are going to work around with in partnership with the World Leagues Association is training in governance, club management, okay, training in experience, fun enhancement modules, enhancements in the entire ecosystem of a club. How do you manage your club? To stop looking at it as a local product, but now in a global market, preparing something for the global market. If you have a game, you must know that this game is going to be watched globally. You are preparing this product for a global partner. Attracting a global partner requires that you fit the terms and conditions and qualities of the global partner's expectations. So the expectations of our clubs, one should be enhancement of governance, enhancement of management, and this we are going to do through benchmarking and knowledge sharing activities, first at continental level, and then with the World Leagues Association.
Okay. I'm glad that you made mention of governance, but before we go into that, so what will feel different, on the ground? That's a follow-up question to what you just answered now. What do you feel will feel different on the ground?
What is going to feel different on the ground, first of all, is the experience of the fans, number
Okay.
one,
Okay.
because we want our fans to experience the kind of football that somebody who was watching a game, for example, in Spain, is experiencing. And how do we do that? First of all, by making sure that we upgrade how we manage funds access. How do they access the stadium? What activities do they find there? Is it accessible? Is the stadium accessible? Are they safe? Is it secure for them? Okay. Then, secondly, is it open for families? That is on ground. But also now for the club owners, for example, for the players, also for the players to know that, look, as you're playing this game, you need to know one thing: this game is being watched worldwide. So give it your best. So we anticipate to see more competitiveness even in the local league games.
Yeah.
All right. At club management level, the marketing teams, the human resource teams, the coaches, the reactions, presentation in as itself of the people in the entire ecosystem is to be doing that at a global marketing level. It's no longer going to be operating at it's no longer going to be what we have been doing and what usually most African leagues actually do, of operating as a normal day.
Mhm.
Normal day, waiting for a local partner and an SME to come and invest probably $10,000. We are now preparing African leagues to take flight for top global investors. And that changes first from home. Charity begins at home, they say.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks. That's well taken on board. So, which brings us back to the governance. So, how would governance standard evolve, under this initiative, and how ready is Uganda ready to meet this?
Well, first and foremost, of course, before coming up with the decision to join and be founding members as Uganda Premier League of the African Leagues Initiative, we first made consultation internally. It is very clear that every person, for example, who owns a club would definitely want their club to be as big as Barcelona, to be as big as Tottenham Hotspur or Arsenal or any other club, or Al Ahly in Egypt. Okay, so the gap which has been there is that's where we want to go. But how do I do it? That's the question people have been asking themselves, the club owners. How do I get there? Now that it has been solved, we have made the initiative together. So now, when that answer is given, is your club becomes one of the top clubs in East Africa or in Africa, by doing this and this and this. You must have a clear structure internally. You must have professional players. You must have a data of your players and your funds. You must have this governance put in right. Your management must be competent. You must have a system in place of operation. You must have your funds well managed. You must have good accountability. All those things. We must be presentable as a coach and all those things. So the answers have now been given. And these are the answers that the club owners and football stakeholders and managers have been looking for. So, as far as governance is concerned, everybody is very anxious and ready to fold their sleeves and get their hands dirty.
Yeah, that's fine. So, still under, that's a follow-up question, on that governance and standard. So,
Yes.
where does Uganda need to improve upon the most?
Well, where Uganda needs to improve the most is definitely at club level, because it's a collective. The league is made up of the clubs, so it's a collective. We've been barely having, majorly been having a knowledge challenge of knowing what to do. Okay, working with a module or a system that is proven outside the theoretical and all those things, a model that is proven. For example, now that we're going to be having our brothers from Egypt, from Algeria, from South Africa, coming here in Uganda and telling us, look here, this is how we have built Mamelodi Sundowns. This is what we have done. This is the step we have taken. Do this and this and this. So now the challenge of knowledge is going to be taken care of. The challenge of governance, which was there in some instances, is also going to be taken care of, and such as the one of accountability. Because all these are key aspects of football growth locally and at continental level.
That's good. You made mention, I'm sure, during the course of our conversation, you made mention of, some of the sponsors, fintech, banks or all those. So there's a question underneath, so I'm just coming to that now. So commercial opportunities, do you see the leading or centralized commercial opportunities like shared broadcast rights and sponsorship?
Yeah, definitely. Some of these things have already actually been happening in Europe. And a number of the partnerships and big deals that people see are not negotiated by independent leagues. They're done at association level, at group level, where 5 leagues come together or 7 leagues come together and speak to a partner, to a data partner, to a fintech, to an energy partner, to a betting partner, to a kit sponsor. All these things are being done at association level, because here now you have a big pool. And as I said earlier, numbers attract numbers. So now if we have the numbers, and what we are seeing now is global partners now finally coming and saying, good, it is good that now as Africa, you have organized yourselves like this. We've always wanted to deal with you, but we didn't have a way of bringing you together. Now that you are together, what is the price?
So I'll take it that there's commercial growth. And
yes.
Can you expand on how that will actually happen, that commercial growth?
The commercial growth is going to happen in a way that, one, as I mentioned earlier, because the models of commercial growth in football, I know you know them, my brother. One is through partnerships and naming rights. 2 is through the player transfers. 3 is match day tickets. 4 is merchandising. Okay, among others. So let me start with partnerships. If we have global media partners who are selling international media rights, if you've been earning $1 million from your broadcast rights per year, and now here comes a partner who is saying, I'm going to extend your league beyond Uganda and have it being viewed in Egypt, in Germany and Spain, and I'm going to add you another $1 million. It means the league is now earning $2 million per season out of broadcast. Now, this is where it gets more interesting. And I gave you those 4 in that order intentionally. After the broadcast has been widened, it means you're getting more visibility. Okay, so now with more visibility, it means you're attracting now a global partner, a fintech in Germany will definitely want to be featuring on your as shirt sponsors for some of the clubs. Then they come in again as partners. Now, when those are being seen as partners, that means that the clubs are going to earn more money. When the clubs earn more money, they can be in position to buy better players from even Europe to come and compete in our continental games, local games. Now, when they do, the fans are going to want to come and watch this competition, which is very competitive. Now, you see, partnership income has grown, merchandising has gone up, player transfers have gone up, funds are back in the stadium. So that is how the growth is being looked at from both a league level and at club level.
Thanks for that. So fairness across the league. That's the next question. How do you ensure that the leagues like Uganda benefits equally alongside bigger markets such as South Africa and Egypt?
So you see, one of the things that we've been discussing across, even at the time of coming up with this initiative with guidance from the World Youth Association, is that one, first come together. That is the first thing. Now, when you come together, you are in position to evaluate value as per consideration. Okay? For example, if we are doing, let's say, integrity partner, official integrity partner, right? And they are going to bring something. We can always discuss on the bit of revenue sharing cannot be a challenge, because the fact that we're now operating in unison, we can always discuss on who benefits at what level, in what percentage, at what contribution. So that is it's a case by case basis, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So CAF, that's the big elephant in the room. So, relationship with CAF. How would this structure work alongside the Confederation of African Football, CAF, without creating any overlaps or conflicts?
No. You see, now the African Leagues initiative is completely very different from CAF. CAF is the one who has the mandate of the sport in the continent. They are the regulator of the sport in the continent. This is simply an association of solving solvable issues at commercial level, at operations level. It is not about coming up with the calendar. No. If there are calendar issues, those ones will be addressed still at association level. But what we are going to do is completely different from that. It is simply us doing a unison from which we are going to be seeing how we can grow as a block. So even CAF is very aware of us doing this organization.
Good. Which,
because,
please go on, please.
Yeah, because you know that it is the national leagues that feed the national teams.
Yes.
So what for us we are doing is to enhance the better the leagues are, the better the national teams are. The better the national teams are, the better the continent competes globally. We want to wake up to that one morning and we see Africa taking World Cup continuously. You see, so all these things we are doing are at league level. There is no way of fixing with there's no crisis with CAF at all.
Yeah. So this scheduling thing, the calendar thing, that's my next question to what you just said now. Avoiding the existing challenges that we all have in the continent of Africa, given some of the ongoing challenges in African football around scheduling, funding and structure, how will the African leagues avoid falling into the same pattern?
Okay, thank you. First of all, when you say the same pattern, the association is new, so there is no pattern we have fallen in at all yet. But secondly, the some of the challenges, first of all, is that has been, as you are aware, has been the schedule, the calendar. Okay, yes. There has been the calendar, which is which falls under competition.
Yes.
This is something that we are going to discuss, and we have discussed before as leagues. And at an opportune time, we shall present our suggestions to the respective federations. Of course, now the issue of funding is one of the key reasons we began this initiative, so that we can be, we don't look at being given fed with a silver spoon, but rather we go out and look for big global sports investors and sports brands, because Africa is a big market. It is a market that people are looking to get into, but have failed to crack how to get into it. Now, for us, we made it easier for them. If you're a sports brand looking for how to enter the sports market in Africa, you have the African Leagues Association. Come and speak to us. We shall get you in. The other challenge has been, of course, talent development and management. Of course, some countries have been successful with the bit of taking their players into bigger leagues and all that, but it has happened at a small ratio compared to what is happening globally. So one of the things we're going to do is player development, intentional player development initiatives, to see that from the grassroots, these young Africans have access to football training, professional football training, and can be equipped with the right standards of competing at global level. So the moment we have sorted the bit of governance and talent management, and the funds are available, the experience of the funds can definitely grow, and the entire ecosystem can be enhanced.
So when I said existing challenges, I wasn't talking about the African League that's just coming into place. Talking about existing one carve, what's been going on. So that's what I meant by African challenges. So thanks for that. So global alignment. That's the next question. What kind of relationship do you expect the initiative to have with FIFA going forward?
So as I mentioned earlier, the Africa Leagues Initiative is a division of the World Leagues Association.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is in very good books with FIFA. Of course, for us as Africa, we speak to CAF. Okay. Yeah. It's the WLA which speaks to FIFA. But we don't have any should I call it any wrangle with any of the regulators at country level, at continental level, and at global level. Our interest is simply enhancing and growth of African leagues in all aspects of football development, commercialization, talent development, partnership and sponsoring, infrastructure development, or competitions and the calendar and all that. It is purely in the interest of doing things together rather than working independently.
Yes. That explains it, because I've just been wondering how African Leagues going to go about it. So there is often tension between federations, league, and clubs. Yes. How will African League manage those competing interests?
So you see, what usually happens is that managing a league is a very hectic role. Okay, so usually it comes off as if there's a crisis between the FA and the leagues, but usually it is because of issues such as funding, okay, such as the other aspects I mentioned of league development. Right. Now, what we are doing as Africa Leagues is that we are getting the weight of the FA, okay, to lessen on the weight of what they should be doing. And we are saying we are now going to run this. Imagine, for example, in the UK, the league is bigger than the FA. Yeah. That's why you don't hear wrangles there. So when there are funds, by the way, my brother, when there are funds, when there is good funding, enough partners, there can't be such. This only comes in when issues where there's now a budget, for example, from the whichever country's ministry, there's a budget, and now they're asking whether to share with which leagues, which sports, and all that. That's where the issue usually comes from. The main key is usually from the fund aspect. But now for us as Africa Leagues Association, what we are going to be doing, one, is to, first of all, share knowledge with how we are operating locally with other leagues that aren't. Okay? Is to introduce the idea of independent leagues to some countries which don't have independent leagues. Yeah. Is to have talks with some of the FAs of other countries and tell them, look here, you're better off having your league running independently rather than it being 100% under you, and these are the benefits you're going to have. One, it will commercialize better itself. Two, you'll have a better league management. Three, you will have now more time to spend on the national teams and other competitions and all that. So what we are going to do is to ensure that all leagues, we speak to them. It is a case by case basis again. Some are independent leagues, some are partially within the FA. But at the end of the day, the FAs have to be in the picture because they hold the mandate of the sport in the country.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, which leads me to this, which is addressing the skepticism. Finally, this is the last questions. What would you say to those who are excited but still skeptical about whether this can be fully delivered or not?
Well, what I can say to those who are still skeptical on whether this can be delivered or not, my favorite quote is, there is only one way to know. The only way to know is when you're on board. If you're not on board, you'll still know, but time is a good storyteller. This discussion, we've been having it for the last 2 years. We had it in Cairo first, then we had it in Greece at the World League Association General Assembly, and we are working with the top leagues, global top leagues, global people, top people in the sport, top people in partnerships, in all aspects of football, in talent development. So it is going to take off. It has taken off already. That is why we just didn't wake up, and because we had this discussion in 2024, you can imagine, we would have come out and launched immediately. But we needed to take care of some key aspects so that we are sure that the moment we start the engine, it's only switching off when we are in the parking lot.
Good. Thanks.
And right now, we have taken that direction. A lot more information is going to be coming out piece by piece. But those who are still skeptical, the best advice I can give them is to not take chances on their league and come and join the initiative, because we are bigger together. We are bigger together. It is in our best interest, because there are some partnerships that you cannot get alone. There are some that you can't. You see, working together is good. For example, Uganda, we are going to host AFCON with Kenya and Tanzania. Pamoja, togetherness. Okay, so when you want to work independently, you could go a distance, but you're better off. Imagine the energy, the power we would have when we are, for example, we have grown to 15 leagues, all our players being known. Imagine a big player who's playing the top scorer in Nigeria, in the Nigerian league, is not known in Uganda. The top scorer in the PSL is not known in Nigeria, but you know other players. But imagine if we had our leagues like how we are 8 now, and maybe we get to 15 or 20, and all our star players are known locally. This is also going to grow our competition. Why we see some games in AFCON not being full to capacity is because people only go to watch games of their countries. Why? They don't know the stars of other countries. But if you're going to have AFCON, and a person from Nigeria knows the top stars in Uganda, knows the top stars in Algeria, knows the top stars in Zambia, in Kenya, in South Africa, they would want to watch each and every game of AFCON, and you'll have full stadiums. So the solution of working togetherness is big and bold.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. It's just short sentence, very short sentence. What should people watch out for as a proof of progress? Just for the skeptics again, just a proof of progress. Oh, this is what is happening, and that's a proof. Just a short one.
Proof of progress is going to be the benchmarking session we are going to carry out at league level for all the leagues, knowledge exchange, talent boot camps, and new partnerships we are going to launch very soon.
Thanks for that.
Thank you very much.
Clear, it is clear that while the African Leagues Initiative presents a strong vision for the future, its success will determine on execution, collaboration, and consistency across all stakeholders. Yes. Thank you for the time once again and your insights. Will be interesting to see how this develops, not just for Uganda, but for African football as a whole. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks for your insightful response. And I'm sure that when else we call you, because obviously there's a lot, the way you talking, there's a lot that you need to bring out there, or put
Yes.
out there. So until next time when we come your way again, my name remains Jide, and I say thank you. Until next time, it's bye.
Thank you very much.